I thought I pressed record. Now we're good.
Okay. Call the Westfield Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order for October 23rd, 2019. Staff, please note the presence of quorum.
We have a quorum.
Very good. Thank you. Action item number 1, consideration of approval for the minutes, September 25th, 2019. Are there any additions, corrections, or comments on the minutes?
None.
Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve action item number 1, the minutes of September 25th, 2019. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to contracts and agreements, action item number 2, 161st Street and Oak Road Roundabout, City of Westfield, NDOT local public agency contract.
We had one of these last month as well. This is a standard contract that we have to sign off on with NDOT to basically create the PO for the construction reimbursement for this roundabout. It won't be constructed until 2022, but they like to get the contract out early, get it approved, and that way we've got it in place for when construction does happen. So it's a standard contract, same boilerplate language NDOT's used for all of our other LPA projects.
Standard, nothing out of the ordinary.
It's just saying that we will design and construct this. In exchange, they're going to pay 80% of the construction
Right.
costs. So.
Okay. Any other discussion?
You may recall that this is an MPO funded project, which is the majority of our projects federally funded, comes through the MPO. This was awarded a couple years ago. It goes into their 5-year financial program, so that's how we equate to the construction in 22. You're following, so it's a roundabout at 161st and Oak, right here. You signed contracts for design and things in the past, so this is just the next step. Once design is complete, then we'll go to construction. So the next item up for consideration we can talk about when we get there is the same application, but it's for 161st and Union.
And that's a year in advance.
Fiscal year ahead.
Yep.
Okay.
So first year we'll be doing 161st and Union, then the next year we'll be coming through 161st and Oak.
Do we notify the neighbors when it's approved? Do we notify the neighbors when construction begins? At what point?
We will have public information meetings just to make
Closer
sure
to
they're
the
aware. Yeah, and then we have notifications for when there's a closure. It'll be a 60-day closure for each one, and we're coordinating it so that one is closed and gets completed in the 60-day closure, and then the following year we come through and do the next one, just so you can't close it off
Right,
at the same time. to provide
yeah.
access. So.
Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve action item number 2, 161st Street Oak Road Roundabout, City of Westfield, NDOT local public agency contract.
So moved?
I have a motion made, seconded to approve action item number 2. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Action item number 3, which we have somewhat discussed, at least the location of, 161st Street and Union Street Roundabout, City of Westfield, NDOT local public agency contract.
Exact same contract, just the project next door.
And this one's 21, the other one was 22.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve action item number 3, 161st Street Union Roundabout, City of Westfield, NDOT local public agency contract.
Second?
A motion made and seconded to approve action item number 3. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 4, City of Westfield US 31 Corridor Invasive Species Management Year 2020 Maintenance Services.
So you may recall when 31 was constructed, we entered into an interlocal agreement with NDOT to maintain the 31 corridor because we requested native plantings along the corridor. Our spring delivered some struggles to get our invasive species under control, most notably cattails, Canadian thistle, and the willow trees, or cottonwood trees, things like that. We are currently contracted with Brightview to maintain all of those things. We are going to reduce Brightview's scope of services and remove that from their contract, move those services over to Williams Creek, which is a more specialized agency that does almost completely environmental type stuff. with the idea that we are a little behind because of the spring. Moving it to a more capable agency will allow us to get up ahead of that and really allow those natives to flourish.
Is it an additional investment, or are we just moving the money from?
Yeah, we're reducing the scope for Brightview and moving those dollars
Okay.
over to Williams Creek.
Okay.
Township pay any?
Township does not pay any.
Isn't this a county-wide issue? I mean, isn't there a county task force about invasive species?
That
The
is,
statute makes the township trustee
yeah. I'm
do a
not
lot
sure.
of that.
I know that the city of Westfield is responsible for 146th Street to 38. So,
Okay.
Brightview will continue to do litter pickup, as well as the annual mowings. So we mow it once a year, generally in the spring. They will continue to do those services. We're gonna also have them do some additional mowing on the on and off ramps, which we've added, just to make it look a little nicer down through there, so it looks more kept.
Okay.
Okay? So with
Further
that-
discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve action item number 4, City of Westfield, US 31 Corridor Invasive Species Management, year 2020 maintenance services.
Second.
A motion made and seconded to approve action item number 4. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action item number 5 is continued. On to action item number 6. City of Westfield Midland Atlantic Development Company LLC and Edrock Development Road Impact Fee Credit Agreement.
So this is a three-party agreement assigning a portion of the road impact fee credits that was a party to the original agreement with Edrock Development to build 175th Street. So to orient you, Crew Car Wash is here, Starbucks. Right now we have this these shops going in here, and then there's a Burger King slated to go here. Edrock Development constructed a portion as well as did a lot of the subsurface work for drainage and things. They are now wishing to assign the remainder of the road construction to Midland Atlantic, so that Midland wants it to time out with their development so that they can have access from the south to their properties. Effectively, it's a three-party agreement between the city, Edrock, and Midland that we will then move the credits due to Edrock, pay Midland when they complete their portion, and the total of the remaining work is $402,000.
So it's just deferred to Midland, who's
It
going to do
is.
the work
It's
rather than Ezra.
A simple,
Not any extra, it's just
yeah,
moved.
it's a
It just
simple
moved to a different,
assignment
okay,
of
that's
the credits.
the way I
I was
understood it
confused.
when I
Thank you
read
for
it.
explaining that, because I wasn't sure if this was additional or
No,
not.
it is not in addition. You may recall that we also assigned $75,000 of impact fee credits to Crew from Edrock, so that reduced the overall cost that Edrock was due, and this will further reduce that and move it over to Midland's plate.
For timely completion of the road.
Yeah, so we
Right.
get it done this year, basically.
Okay.
They have already at risk mobilized and are working to finish the road currently.
Okay. Any further discussion? No. Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve action item number 6, City of Westfield Middle Atlantic Development Company LLC and Edrock Development Road Impact Fee Credit Agreement.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve action item number 6. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 7, 196th Street, Grassy Branch Improvements Signing Authority.
So you may have seen the announcement with the Gordon Food Services building up 196th and Grassy Branch that was announced
Awesome
2
news.
weeks ago. As part of that, with the understanding that there will be some additional truck traffic on 196th Street as well as Grassy Branch, we have elected to do some road improvements to 196th and Grassy Branch. Those improvements will extend from East Street over to Grassy Branch on 196th, as well as from on Grassy Branch from 196th up to the north property line of that GFS distribution center. This is a contract, or it's actually a signing authority to sign a contract with WSP Consultants. They are the engineer that we have selected to design these road improvements. They didn't have the contract completed at this time. However, time is of the essence. We want to get these road improvements done before GFS opens. So we want to get started as quickly as possible. This is a signing authority for Jeremy to be able to sign the contract for just the portions of stuff we want to get started right away. That includes survey, permitting, and geotechnical services, not to exceed $100,000.
And with that, we will bring back the overall design contract to you once it is done and established.
It'll be next month.
Which should be next month. I guess that's the gist of it. But
Not atypical from things we've done in the past, so.
Yeah,
Will you just
we
for
just didn't wanna
clarity,
wait.
will you just arrow around where the Gordon
yeah,
piece is gonna go?
these 3 parcels and this 40-acre chunk are the area that GFS is developing.
Okay,
So there's 80 acres total. If you can see, there's 2 40-acre blocks. As to the selection of the consultant, we did do a qualification-based selection process. I think the invitations went out to 5 different consultants, or 6?
5.
5. John and a couple others scored the proposals, and WSP came out on top. And as we work through the contract, they're going to get started.
What is the GFS timeline in terms of,
They're looking to be open July of 2021. We
Summer
want to have this improvements done June of 2020, which means we didn't want to waste another month to wait for the contract to get it signed before
Right.
they got started, so.
right. You're gonna need all the time.
It's
Gonna need all of that time.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a very aggressive timeline.
Right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve action item number 7, 196th Street Grassy Branch Improvement Signing Authority.
second?
Motion made and seconded to approve action item number 7. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving along to action item number 8, Mount On Trail on 161st Street Professional Engineering Services Contract.
So we've long recognized that the Monon crossing at 161st Street has some dangerous aspects to it with respect to the vertical curve, as well as I know there's been issues with looking into the sun, sight distance, those types of things. When 31 came through, we long-term had planned to do some type of grade separation. I think we talked about in the last meeting that there was a roof of a tunnel placed as part of the US 31, essentially, at this crossing in advance of a potential tunnel. We are going to move forward with that tunnel, the Monon Tunnel under 161st Street. This is the engineering services contract for that design. We have selected United Consultants. Jeff Larison's here representing United. The contract is for the full design, including survey, permitting, plan development, right-of-way, engineering, basically the entire gamut of project development to get us to construction for this Monon Tunnel. Total cost of the contract for PE services is $460,190. I believe that the schedule on this is something around 280 calendar days to get the design completed so we can get to construction as quick as possible.
Does this include the sirens and strobe lights?
Sirens and strobe lights.
We will not be installing any sirens or strobe lights,
Just want to see if she's.
unless a fire truck goes by.
She's listening.
Is that, the 460,000, is that on
Yeah.
budget?
Yes.
It is. It's something we had budgeted for in advance for this project. I can tell you that United's already done some preliminary work for us on this project. They did an over-under study for us a couple years ago and created an engineer's report. So they are the engineer that has the most knowledge of this project as well, and they have shown in the past that they have the expertise to deliver this project on time for us. They were additionally the engineer on the Monon Bridge over State Road 32 as well. So
We did go through a negotiation process. We're able to fine tune the number a little bit to reduce the cost for about $50,000. Just to put it in to typical scale, we believe the cost of construction is $537,000, or $5,367,000. Typical design is 10%, so that would be $537,000. So we're a little bit below that. We're overall happy with the fee and the contract we've got.
Yeah.
So
I have some questions. Can I have questions now
You are?
or no? Well, I think it's more for you guys, because is it a speed problem, or is it the visibility problem, or a combination of both? Because is it just that traffic needs to go slower?
Is she one of the engineers or?
I'm just a
she's visitor.
citizen.
yeah, I think it's probably a combination. I mean, certainly speed can be a factor in certain situations. What we've seen with respect to pedestrians as well is that unfortunately some pedestrians on the Monon believe that cars are going to stop for them and will run out. We've tried very hard to try and be consistent about our at-grade crossings with these trails throughout the city. But sometimes cyclists, they're going for a personal record. They want to continue on as fast as they can. Combination of sight distance at that location has been a factor with some of the trees as well. And just in general, it's a very busy crossing. 161st Street continues to see higher traffic volumes. The Monon Trail is a very popular trail. When you have high volumes on both pedestrian facilities crossing a vehicular corridor, I mean, the prudent thing to do for safety purposes is to separate the grades, right? So you go over or under, and we've long identified this as a safety concern, and it's time now to separate that grade.
Who's the purchaser of the property? Because it said that Westfield wasn't the purchaser.
Actually, John, it's probably best to answer her questions after this meeting,
Okay.
and I can explain why.
Okay.
We can certainly talk after,
Yeah,
and we can answer all your questions. That'll be fine.
but this is interrupting their meeting. and-
Okay.
Do you have any discussion?
I'm fine with Jennifer asking her questions before we vote on this. So
Well, it's just a hearing, right? You're not voting on it, or are you voting on it?
Voting on the contract.
On the
we're
contract.
voting on the contract.
Oh, I
engi-
think the purchaser, everybody should,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be too long an answer, right?
Yeah, so the city of Westfield will acquire the right-of-way. We will hire a third-party consultant, which is United in this case, that does right-of-way acquisition services for us.
Okay, so because it does specify that the city isn't the buyer in the.
Correct. So if you look at the overall scope of services, down here you'll have right-of-way engineering, which they'll define what the right-of-way needs to be, and then you have land acquisition services.
It says that they're gonna find the buyer, though, that's what I was wondering about.
They will hire a buyer
Hire
if they
the
don't
buyer.
have one on staff that actually negotiates and goes through the process.
Yeah.
That's not uncommon though.
Yeah, a lot of the engineering consulting firms have sub-consultants underneath them for the actual buying, who specialize in right-of-way transactions because they're engineers, not right-of-way purchasers.
Right, okay.
And then the
So
owner
it
of the
is
land.
definitely going to be the city of Westfield, the purchaser.
Correct.
On the purchase agreement.
Absolutely,
Yes. Does
Good.
that answer your
Yep.
question?
Yeah, I guess my question arises though, because it's part of our park system, right, the Monon,
Correct. Considered a linear park.
right? And the Bureau of Land Management shows that our parks are federally owned, and I just wanted to make sure that this isn't a
The city of
federal.
Westfield Parks?
Yeah,
I'm not sure where that comes from, but we own our own property and maintain and
Okay.
operate. Yeah.
yeah, I can show you on the
Okay.
website. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Kate,
No,
anything?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, no further discussion. I'll make a motion to approve action item number 8, Monon Trail under 161st Street Professional Engineering Services Contract.
Second?
Motion made, seconded to approve action item number 8. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Sorry, I just, what time frame? Remind me of the time frame for that project.
It'll depend on funding, so we're going through this. This is supposed to wrap up 280 days, right? So mid-year next year. And then assuming funding's in place, we'll go to construction and bid after that. So our hope is, we are fast tracking this as a city and making a
Right.
decision to fast track this. We're gonna build as quickly as we can.
Okay. Thank you, sorry.
No, it's fine. On to action item number 9, Westfield Boulevard Connector Professional Engineering Supplement 3.
So we have a groundbreaking for the Westfield Boulevard Connector project tomorrow, actually. And I hope you guys received invites. to
We
that.
did.
Yes.
Okay, good. I hope you guys can make it. This is the new alignment roadway from Park Street down to 169th Street, as indicated by Jeremy's cursor there. This supplemental is for $19,900 from WSP, who is our consultant and engineer of record on the project. This was an add-on at the very end to revise some plans right before bidding. Namely, they revised the pond design a bit to make it, add some landscaping and change some contours to make it a little prettier in the plans, as well as they avoided a building removal that was originally planned in the design. This, you can see that building there, was originally planned to actually be removed as part of the right-of-way acquisition process. That was going to remain, so we tweaked the design a little bit to avoid that building. As such, that was out of their scope. They did ask for an additional supplemental. It's warranted. And then the last thing they did as well was some additional final permitting for the wetland permit. So it was about $19,000 in scope of services. It's a fair number and it was warranted.
Okay.
The benefit of the connector will be,
Well, so this is an NDOT funded through Federal Exchange. So essentially, I'll take you back a number of years. 31 came through, cut off access to 169th Street. As you can see, this is a pretty heavily traveled business corridor.
Yep.
Based on complaints from the neighboring businesses, NDOT decided to partner with the city and constructed this connection to provide better access. They are paying 90% of the construction costs. We are paying 10%. And it'll do two things. Number one, it'll provide better access and it'll move.
and that's
folks-
Tom Roush, and that's the
Roush and
Agra.
all these other businesses.
Right.
It'll also hopefully take some traffic off of this Westfield Park Road.
As well as off of Union
And
Street.
off of Union Street. And then additionally, so the developer purchased the property and dedicated the right of way to us, which is a savings of about $5 million. And that will then open up their development for.
Development for that.
Yeah, for other.
And those are zoned.
Yeah, the PUD was approved a number of years ago as well through the, it's called the Grand Millennium Center.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll enhance public safety access greatly as well
Correct.
by having that corridor through there.
There's also some added trail connectivity as part of the project as well.
Yes.
Oh, good.
The Midland behind the restaurants is currently under construction. Citizens is putting a sewer line. The road will have pedestrian facilities on both sides down. We will construct
Oh, good.
this portion of the trail from,
Underneath 31,
Natalie
Jerry?
Wheeler.
Yay.
Yeah, to-
That's
That's gonna be
awesome.
nice. It's gonna
Yeah.
be very nice.
we have a little bit of land acquisition to do on this parcel here. When we were acquiring the Monon, it went to condemnation. So we've got to wait for a timeline unless the sellers are willing. So we've got to engage that, which we will do over the next few months to be able to connect it. But it's already been constructed underneath the bridge.
Is that Pierce? Is that the Pierce property?
It is, I think they call it Westfield LLC. The old Sac Creek.
The old Sac Creek place? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? No? Good. All right,
Stop.
I'll make a motion to approve action item number 9, Westfield Boulevard Connector Professional Engineering Supplement number 3.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to approve action item number 9. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 10, second development agreement, City of Westfield and Shelby Gravel.
Also, a while back, we know that Shelby Gravel has relocated out here to Mule Barn Road. Mule Barn Road is very narrow in this stretch from their property to State Road 32. Originally, also a couple of years ago, we entered into an impact fee agreement with them to committing that all the impact fees that they pay will go to improve this road, which is fine. We are currently working through that project and that process and the costs associated with it. As a part of their development, they're required to resurface, mill and resurface their frontage, as well as a passing blister, which if you go back to the original agreement, we have committed to purchasing the land and building this, but they are paying for it. They are having some right-of-way land acquisition issues with the neighbor. So this amendment or this agreement is that they are going to pay us $22,613, which is the cost to mill and resurface Mule Barn. They're going to give that to us, and we're going to include it in their project so that they don't come and mill it in order to get their C of O, and then we come through and tear it out. So they wanted this agreement just to confirm that they've met all of their requirements, and once it's approved, they'll send us a check.
Okay,
Then we'll apply that to the cost of the project.
okay. Questions, comments? Yeah. Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve action item number 10, second development agreement, City of Westfield and Shelby Gravel.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to approve action item number 10. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. On to change orders, action item number 11, 151st and Town Road Intersection Improvement Project, change order number 1.
This is a small change order to the design contract for the 151st and Town Road roundabout. This is for the environmental aspect of it. Basically, it's so that the environmental consultant, they are required by NDOT to do some shovel testing of the fields adjacent to there. Basically, I think when they put their scope together, it was covered in water and they didn't know the condition. Based on the condition that it's not been tilled in, I forget the exact amount of time, but over time it's not a tilled field. They have to actually do some shovel testing there for archaeological purposes. So this is just a $5,200 change order to add that to their contract.
I did reach out to NDOT just to confirm that this is something they are requiring, and they confirmed that they are. So additional shovel testing for environmental investigation.
And to make you aware of why NDOT's involved, this is a NDOT rural funded project, so it's separate from the MPO but funded by NDOT. So as such, we go through their processes. They're requiring this additional environmental work.
Not the first time I've heard that.
Not the first time.
All right. Any further discussion? No? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve action item number 11, 151st and Town Road Intersection Improvement Project, change order 1.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to approve action item number 11. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to permit approval, action item number 12, encroachment permit application Frontier 161st Street between Spring Mill and Ditch Road.
Adam?
Yeah. This is a pole replacement deal. As you know, with the underground barrier district, we've gone to sending all these to the Board of Works. Frontier Communications does have a few poles left around town. Most of their space they probably rent as on Duke poles, but they do have a handful of poles around town. So they got a run of 5 poles they're proposing to replace on 161st, just east of Ditch Road. And it's actually just because they're pretty dilapidated and deteriorated. We actually had an incident where one of the poles fell into the road recently and was blocking about 3 driveways. I mean, good sized wire, about 3 feet high. So, yeah, we were going to recommend allowing them to replace in kind, just similar
Same
size
size.
pole.
Yep.
Yeah, correct.
It'd be like replacement, just improving their facility so they don't just randomly blow over in the wind.
I'm guessing the neighbors would be in favor of replacing.
I would think so, yeah. So, as you know, the resolution that you all passed back in, I think it was in 17, any kind of aerial replacement or relocation has to come to you for approval. We are recommending that we approve this relocation in place, basically.
These are smaller, maybe 25, 30 feet poles. They're not
They're
huge.
short poles with just a cable on them. They're not the big overhead power lines with arms and all that other stuff.
Nothing they're willing to put under, it's gonna stay in here.
They would if we want to pay the delta cost, and then
Right.
it has to go through a whole new design
Right.
process, and in that time, we risk other poles.
Other poles coming down, so it's at this juncture, the lesser the evil to replace the poles with something sturdy.
I believe so, in my
Okay,
opinion.
okay. Kate?
No questions.
Okay. All right, I will make a motion to approve action item number 12, encroachment permit application Frontier 161st Street between Spring Mill and Ditch Road.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve action item number 12. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 13, encroachment permit application Duke Energy, 1839 West 166th Street.
Yeah, so Eagletown Road
So right
and
here?
166, we're teed in from the north. Not Eagle Creek, Eagletown Road,
Oh, Eagle Town, right here.
back east. Is that 166? Yep, there you go. Yeah, so this is a Duke Energy generated project. They're in anticipation of the coming growth. They're updating a lot of their single phase stuff as their capacity upgrade projects. They're proposing to change out of 5 poles they're a little bigger. A lot of their poles around 30 to 30 feet, 5 inches. They're going to like 40 feet, 4-inch poles, which will accommodate 3-phase and, more services. So as capacity upgrade, they're proposing replacement of, I think, 5 poles. One is actually on 166, and then 4 more to the north.
And these are replacement, did you just say, or did?
Yeah, replacing in kind with, well, not in kind, but it's a larger pole.
They're upgrading their services so they
Yeah.
can handle additional
It
capacity.
can handle additional, electric capacity and distribution.
So to it be able to handle that, it warrants the increase of the 10-foot tower pole.
Yeah.
And this is an effort to be in front of the demand.
Correct, yeah, this is an effort on Duke's part, getting out in front of the growth. Whereas some of the pole stuff is directly related to development, some of it's
Right.
Duke trying to get out in front of it.
So action rather than reaction in this
Correct.
case. Kate?
Can you show me the map again? Are these are neighbors aware that this is gonna happen? Has Duke made them aware?
I do not know on that. I'll have to check. Duke's gone also, they're using a consultant now for a lot of their permit submissions, I found out today, so I'm not actually speaking with Duke directly now on some of this.
So all the work will be done from the right of way. Most of these areas out here have minimal right of way, so they'll be working from the road. It's simple of drilling some new holes, putting in new poles and switching lines.
But bigger poles. I mean, the
Larger
last
poles,
one was a
correct.
replacement, is what I understood you to say,
Correct.
and this
They
is
were-
not the case with
These are
this.
Correct, yeah.
So I have concerns about that. I don't know those property owners, but to me, I'd want to know if it was happening outside or on my street. So, I have concerns about moving forward with this item.
That's right.
What's their timing?
Probably as soon as we can approve the permit. They submitted, I think, just this, when they submit.
So part of the
It's
overall.
dated the 18th.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
part
is
of the
pretty
overall-
ministerial.
Correct.
We've already got by the underground facilities, so this is gonna happen.
To be completely candid, they do not need our permission to do what they're
Right,
doing.
that's where I was going. This is just so we know what they're doing here, and they go through the permitting process.
I'm a no.
I'm sure we could.
So if we don't, however you want to handle it, Randy, is fine, but I think that the neighbors deserve to know if they can go ahead and do it without this process, then.
That's fine, okay, you can vote any way you want,
Yeah.
but that's not a concern, that's not an issue here.
Right, that's fine.
Kate, one
Okay.
thing we could do is reach out to Duke and just request that they, via certified mail, give some type of notice to the property owner and have a question and answer period perhaps.
Or even, just.
It's a request that
give
we
them
would make
notice
to
would be,
them. Yeah, we could make that
sufficient.
request. They may have
I understand it's
already-
not their property that we're putting these in.
They may have already done that.
They-
We
right,
just don't know
that's-
for
that's
sure.
true, right.
So we can reach out to Duke and just request that they make they do some outreach to the property owners.
And you could make your motion contingent upon that, and then we would not approve the permit until they've proven to us that they've made the communication you're requesting, whether it be certified mail or otherwise.
So would you like to put that in form of motion?
Do you think that would be more expedient than just doing this next month and getting, information back from Duke that they've handled it?
So part of the problem and the reason why this comes up is because Duke typically doesn't communicate with us until it's time for a permit, which means they've already designed it and ordered their stuff and the materials are
Right.
laying on the ground.
This is not the first time.
So
No, this is not.
it,
This is
it's
a
completely up to
ministerial
you.
act.
If you want to push it to the next meeting and then we'll have our conversations about communication. Between now and then, that's absolutely fine. If or however you want to handle it.
That's what I prefer to do, is that we move it to November.
Counselor?
She's a no, that's what happens. Just
Okay.
carries over until you got a majority.
Okay. For lack of a motion that will have a majority vote, we will continue action item number 13 to the next meeting, pending staff works with Duke to effectively communicate with the affected property owners. Let the record show. All right, moving along, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to department reports. First up is fire.
I'll keep the fire department report brief and just give you an overview. No, you're good. The report's on the docket. You can see the report. We had an influx of alarm runs last year to the middle school, or last month to the middle school, and that really kind of skewed some of our numbers. But we have since worked with them as recent as today, and the alarms that they've had this week have not been related to construction. It was the alarm wasn't programmed correctly and picking up a duct detector instead of the fire alarm panel. They've rectified that, and Storage Solutions was another problem that we had on the past few weeks, and they're redoing their whole fire alarm panel system. So that's really pretty much it from the fire department side.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions, Kate? All right. Chief Rush?
Yeah, good afternoon. So for this board, we are, I'm leaving here and at 2 o'clock we are having a retirement party for Kim Daniels. All are welcome, by the way. So we have Derek Baldridge and Winyu Sharif that this board's already approved. They are actually starting on Monday. So we're excited to have them. We have Caleb Gilhart in his 6th week of the academy. Both Bonds and Wygant, they sailed through FTO and they're solo cars already. So that puts us, after these next 2 hired on Monday, that puts us at where we need to be for this year, at 55. We have somewhat of approval, I think, for the officers for next year, so we're really excited about that. So we've started our current process, our hiring process for that group of people. We are interviewing 55 people on the 2nd week in November. They've already taken their written tests and moving forward to their interview.
Have they all been through the academy, or is it?
No, that's just open apps.
Yeah,
So
so
we
what
have-
percentage, are some of them?
I flat out don't even look at that yet, because I don't want that to sway anything.
Right.
So they're all ranked by test scores.
And this is a new pool, because you
Right.
like
It is.
went
Use
through
the
the
old
other
pool,
pool
right.
until it was depleted, so this is all fresh.
It is. Yeah. So
We've been fortunate in the past that some of the high scorers have already had the academy. The folks from IU stand out.
we use an outside firm for our testing.
Right.
We're selling a good product now. It's a good place to be. We have good benefits, and people want to be here. And we drew a lot more people to take the test than a lot of our counterparts. So we had quite a few pre-apps. We had 75 to 80 people actually take the written test. And our standards are so high that they test well. So our average score of our test is like upper 80%. So we're interviewing a lot of people out of that. So,
That's a good place to be for us. Yeah.
other than that, that's all I got. Unless you have any questions for me.
Okay.
No. Thanks, Chief.
Jeremy?
Yeah, so we're coming into winter. Our maintenance folks are gearing up accordingly, so the parks restrooms and things are starting to close down unless it's a four-season restroom. Beginning to, winterize irrigation systems and prep for winter. Street crew right now this time of year focused on things like roadside shouldering and grading, as well as a lot of concrete work, so curbs and sidewalks and trip hazard removal all over the town. From a construction perspective, we've got our signal installed and functioning on Friday at Ditch and State Road 32. So that is up and running. Permanent striping will happen here in the next week as weather permits. The town road project is wrapping up as well, so it should open by the end of the week, finally. If you haven't heard, the Monon Bridge over State Road 32 is been delayed a bit due to the lead time for our handrail. So when we decided to add lighting for pedestrian safety across the bridge, it had to go through an NDOT approval process, since that's an NPO funded project. That took a little time. Once the fixtures and handrails or fixtures were approved, the handrails were designed, they're all custom fabricated, so there's a 14 to 16 week lead time on that. We're not stopping construction, it'll continue. Bridge deck's been poured, we'll get the ACL, or the on and off ramps, if you will, done, the tie-ins, hopefully the plexiglass, and then everything will finish up in the spring, opening for April. So, Grand Junction Plaza is groundbreaking on the 31st. So that project is moving along. And then, as John stated earlier, we have a groundbreaking for the Westfield Boulevard project tomorrow. So if you're available, please come to that. Other than that, we're gearing up for a really heavy construction season over winter, which it's a little unusual. A lot of times we slow down a little in the winter time. We are able to catch our breath and catch up on some administrative work from an engineering perspective, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case this year. Private development's going to continue to ramp up. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are we announcing, or did we push on social the light at 32 and Ditch? I haven't been by.
We did.
It went out. That's how I found out about it.
I didn't see. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I did see that, and it was like, I'm a little, not
I think you weren't.
a great fan of, stopping traffic, but that was such a safety issue that it's a blessing that is installed there now.
And if you go out there,
Oh, go ahead.
if you go out there now, you can see it's still pinched down a little bit in a couple directions. We have it barreled off the decel lanes and things, and that's just waiting on permanent striping.
And with the transportation center right there, the bus,
Yep.
school bus transportation center right there, that's a huge
Yeah,
issue.
greatly enhances.
Yes, yeah.
And this was accelerated largely at our behesting through NDOT because it wasn't their original timeline.
Correct. And that was, when were they planning on putting it up, May? or
Well, they weren't going to put it up at all until we bugged them enough, and then the most expedited timeline was going to be spring of 2020, and then we worked out an interlocal agreement where they gave us a check and we added it to our contract to get it up 6 months faster or so, 5-6 months. So
It's good.
yeah,
Glad to see it.
it was a good example of both NDOT and the city working together to get, to do the better good, the good for the whole community versus just the good for the organization individually.
Anything else, Kay? No further business. I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Meeting is adjourned. Meeting is adjourned. Meeting is adjourned. Meeting is adjourned. Meeting is adjourned.